As an element of art, space is the area in and around an object. It can be empty or full, nearby or far away. Artists deal with two different kinds of space: positive and negative space. Positive space is the area occupied by an object. The area around the object that defines the object's edges is known as negative space. Positive versus negative space. I'm going to draw a circle, and I'm going to color in the positive. I'm going to draw a circle, and I'm going to color outside the positive. Artists create depth in their artworks when they work on two-dimensional, flat surfaces. Depth is the use of perspective to give the illusion of deep space on a two-dimensional plane. Another way artists create depth is to use overlapping, the process of putting one object, color, or line in front of another. This makes the object on top appear closer than the one behind it. Artists also can show space and depth by making objects that are nearby appear larger than objects that are far away. Wood overlapped objects to make the ones on top appear closer to the viewer. Objects, like trees and buildings, appear smaller the farther away they are. The objects that are near are darker and more detailed than the objects that are far away, drawing the viewer eye to the objects that are closer. Artists arrange the space in their composition by layering the foreground, middle ground, and background. The objects that are closest to the viewer are in the foreground, the part of painting or drawing that is at the very front and near the bottom of the page. Most artworks show the most detail in the foreground. In the background, farthest from the viewer, wood paints fields and rolling hills. The town and the river are in the middle ground, the area between the foreground and background. The section of foreground, middle ground, and background, we're going to take this small little paper. We're going to cut out the dotted line. Then we're going to draw a foreground, a middle ground, and a background and glue it in our space. Linear perspective is a technique in which artists use actual and implied lines to create an illusion of space and depth on a two-dimensional surface. In linear perspective, the horizon line, the name given to the viewer's eye level, is the implied line where the sky meets the ground. The point on the horizon where lines in a painting or drawing converge or come together is the vanishing point. Linear perspective helps artists make objects seem to recede into the distance. For linear perspective, we are going to draw some boxes using our vanishing point and our horizon line. So for this, I'm going to need a ruler and my pencil, and I'm going to connect each point of each box to this point. So I'm going to take my ruler, line them up, and I'm going to draw lines. I would only keep these lines if my box is see-through. So my box is solid, so I'm going to erase. I then take here and I pull down for as deep as I want my box to go, and I create a parallel line. I can now detach.
my box. You're going to continue to practice doing that for each one of your boxes.
Atmospheric perspective is another technique for creating the illusion of depth. This technique, also called aerial perspective, is used to create the illusion of air and space in a work of art. Objects that are close are darker in order to draw the eye. Objects that are farther away are lighter and more muted. These changes in light and dark help create the illusion.
For atmospheric perspective, we are going to draw a small town, letting our background get really light and blurry as it gets far away. So I'm going to draw a little town.
In this unit you are going to work with proportion, the relationship of size. Unity, the quality of seeming whole and complete, with all parts looking right together. Variety, the combination of elements to create interest. To create a work of art that activates deep space,